What's up, boys? Alright, I'm making a. Why is my headphones? I'm, testing something, as you might be able to tell. Um, I'm making a thumbnail here, but while I do that, I'll explain. I'll explain. Um, I've been thinking a lot about content on this YouTube channel and what I want to do. Um, Obviously, I've made some YouTube videos on this channel. I think my headphones literally just died. As soon as I go live, my headphones die. 1 second.
Um, I've got some YouTube videos on my channel, obviously, and as of right now, they're all well. I've done like 2 videos I think where I have myself on camera, and most of them, especially the ones that anybody has watched, have been no face cam, and I've been going back and forth a lot, and it's kind of stopped me from making things because I'm not sure how I want to approach that because there's pros and cons of using Facecam and not using Facecam and the alternatives to that and all these things. Um, and it's kind of stopped me from making content, deciding what I want to do. I hope this audio sounds good. I think I say that every stream. I want to throw a compressor on here live, baby. Do it live. We're testing things anyway. Why not? If I just do a default compressor, if that is okay. We'll see, I guess. This is a test. If it's terrible, I don't care. Um, but basically, I mean, I don't know if anybody cares. I don't have anything planned to talk about on this stream, so I guess I'll just explain my thought process. So, the videos that I have on the channel currently, especially the ones that I put the most time into, I have no face cam on them. And I don't think that makes for bad videos. I think there's plenty of great videos that don't have any face cam. But it does make editing and writing really, it makes both of those a pain. Um, because in both cases you have to constantly be thinking about what is on screen at any given moment, which obviously from an editing perspective is adds a lot more work, but it also does from a writing perspective as well, because as you're writing you're constantly thinking what's on camera at any given moment, what am I going to show here, and there are some times where there's not really anything that's good to have on screen, and so then it just becomes like in my previous videos you can go and watch and see. Something I do often is I'll play a video that I'm talking about and I'll sort of just play it in the background as I'm talking without the audio, just because it gives something visual on screen. But I don't necessarily like that. And sometimes I'm not talking about something that has a video, and then I just sort of have a image on screen. It's tough, and it's tough from a writing perspective because I know if I don't in the writing stage, if I don't think about what's on screen at any given moment, then it's going to make the editing part way harder. So it's like, do I want the writing part to be harder, or do I want the editing part to be harder? So, um, I've been wanting to do something else because if you have face cam or something equivalent to that, well, you know, who knows what I might be referring to. If you have face cam, you can just have yourself talking, right? Whenever you're talking. If you don't have anything particular to put on screen, you can just throw in video of yourself talking. Um, and that seems like a great solution. But there are cons to doing that. Um, so I guess yeah, I already talked about the cons of no face cam. The cons of face cam are one, it's out there who I am. Um, which I don't necessarily want that, especially given the type of, you know, I'm generally talking about politics. I kind of want to be able to talk about anything on this channel, but generally, just because of my interests, I'm usually talking about politics, and people are crazy. And so I don't necessarily want people to know who I am. Um, Even though I don't think I'm talking about anything that crazy when it comes to politics. There's just always crazy people. So I don't want people contacting people or, you know, I have a life and I don't want anything I make on YouTube to like interfere with that. Um Also, and this is probably a dumb thing to even be thinking about at this point, but like if this channel were to like become a thing, become big, I don't really want to be famous. I think the people who have managed to have a successful YouTube channel while remaining anonymous, I think they've like hit the jackpot, you know. And you know, most of the people who've done that have done that by not having face cam. The others would be people who are like VTubers. And so that's kind of what I've been debating on for the last couple of months of like if I'm going to move forward, what do I want to do? Do I just want to show myself on camera? Um and sort of accept the cons that come with that, or do I want to be a VTuber? And I couldn't bring myself to be a VTuber. I just couldn't do it. I looked at a lot of examples of people who do it. The main con of being a of being a VTuber is that it's fucking cringe. It's just cringe. It's a little bit less cringe if you're a girl and you have like a cutesy anime voice and you can have a cutesy anime avatar. It's a little bit less cringe. It's still kind of cringe, but you can get away with it. Um, but if you're a guy, yeah, it's pretty cringe. Um, Here, let me finish my my thumbnail so that I can change my screen here. Where did I save this? Here we go. But yeah, it's pretty cringe, and there's not really a whole lot you can do to mitigate that. Um, I had some thoughts and some ideas, but it's just cringe, and it's really hard to make it not cringe. And so then I thought about like PNG Tuber, which I think is a little bit less cringe, but it's still cringe, and it's kind of just low effort. Like it's not that it's cringe. Like VTubers are cringe, PNG tubers are low effort, and it's just kind of lame. Um, and so I don't even remember how I came up with this idea. Oh, I remember. I was looking at OBS and I was messing around with the filters and um I think it was actually just the video properties where I was like messing with the contrast and saturation and stuff, and I was like, well, what if I made it black and white and cranked up the contrast? That kind of makes it, blah blah blah. And then I thought, well, what if I could do kind of what you're seeing right now, like an outline of myself with a white fill-in thing. This is not exactly how I want it to be. I think there's some, but I'm actually I did this in like an hour, a couple of hours maybe, and I was like I'm kind of drinking a little bit too, so I probably wasn't as optimal. Um, I think I can mess with some of the sliders on what I have on the filters that I have right now, but like I'm pretty impressed with what I have here. Here, I'm gonna throw up this. Because I want to go to my next scene. We call it in the industry, so that y'all can see kind of how this will work in action a little bit more. That look like ass. I'll just show you my screen. I'll just show you what I'm doing. So this is how it'll look more in action. I've got the green screen behind me that I can just be here on the in the corner below. You can see my outline. And I think it looks pretty cool. I think I like it a lot. It's sort of a good in between, I think, of like a VTuber and Facecam. And you know, I don't know. I like it. I don't know if other people like it. I don't know if I care. Um I think it gives a unique branding, a good unique uh self brand to the channel. I think it looks kind of cool. I think it allows for that human connection. At least, I mean, if people can connect to a VTuber, that why couldn't they connect to what I'm doing here? Why can't they connect to whatever the fuck this is? That's all I'm saying. And it also, some of the other things that I mentioned, or that I didn't mention, about the pros or the pros of being a VTuber and the cons of using Facecam, uh, is that, if you're on Facecam, you're always going to be thinking about how you look. And I'm not, listen, I'm not a stud, but I don't think I'm ugly. I don't think that I'm generally repulsive to look at. But I'm not attractive, I wouldn't say, generally. Uh but also it's not even really about that. It's more just like being self-conscious. Like if I knew I was going to be on camera for every stream, I'd have to like just pay a lot of attention to what I look like. Like right now, I'm literally wearing like my shirt has stains on it, which to be fair is not a usual thing. Really know why I have stains on my shirt right now. But I do, and you have no idea about that. Um, I could have a giant zit on my face, and you guys wouldn't know. Uh, I could be fresh out of the shower. That's a big one. Sometimes I want to take a shower, and then maybe I want to stream after I shower, but I look fucking wet. I look damp. No one wants to be on camera and look damp. And so it's like with this, I don't know. I still get to be on camera. I get to emote and gesture to some degree. You get to see my face. You get to see my mouth moving some degree. But you don't get all the detail. You don't get everything. Right? You got to know me in person to get everything. And so I don't know. I kind of like this. Again, I think there's some some adjustments. Like I think maybe like I want to be able to see my. I think the outlines could be thicker. On this, I was messing around with it obviously before this stream, getting it working, but trying to like get a good balance. I like that my glasses really stand out. If I didn't have my glasses, it would be very, you know, I feel like you wouldn't really get a whole lot. But I like the glasses. Um, yeah, there's some adjustments that I think could be made. What text stuff? Text here. Wee. Um, I fucking hate GIMP, bro. I love GIMP. I shouldn't lie. Why does it do? I hate text in GIMP. That's what I hate. I love GIMP. It's great. It's free. It can do. I don't know if it can do everything Photoshop can do. I've never used Photoshop, but it can do everything I've ever needed it to do. Producing. Is that cringe? Dude, let's do. Let's do that. That's good enough. This is a test stream. I don't really care about what's going on this stream. I might not even keep this stream live. It's all just fun. I'm gonna switch back. This is something I need to fix. So I've got a green screen behind me. That's part of this effect. Right now it's literally taped to the wall, so it could fall down and fucking ruin everything. I actually don't know what this would look like if I didn't have the green screen, to be honest. So it'd be kind of interesting to see. But right now it's duct taped to my wall. I think I mentioned this on my last stream, which to be honest, I don't remember if I left published or not, but I moved. It's kind of a funny, I mentioned this on my last stream, but it's a funny thing where I made a video about a year ago, that Elon Musk video, the Twitter video, I guess both of my big, but I made that Twitter video that actually got a few views. If you're by chance watching this, you're probably someone who watched that, because why else would you be watching me? I made that video, and then literally like a month later, it's a long story, but I was going to be laid off from my job, or I had to find another job at the same company. And so it just was like a lot going on in my life. So it's like I made this big video and I was all excited because it got a lot of views. A lot of views. A lot of views. It got more views than I'd ever gotten before. And I was all excited about it. And then I couldn't like focus on anything else because I was worried about my future income. And also, I wasn't really worried about my future income. I knew I could get a job, but it was just like a matter of what job would I get, and would I fucking hate it, and would my schedule suck, and would my pay be less, and all these fun things to think about. And so I just didn't have time really to think about YouTube at a time where I was really kind of excited about it. And then so I got a new position, but it was like really stressful in the beginning, like most new jobs are. And then I kind of eased into it after like 9 months, I feel like. And that's when I made that second video, the Doge video, which is why I say I have 2 Elon Musk videos, because obviously Elon Musk is heavily involved in both of those things. And literally right after I make that video, like how long? It might have been like a month again, probably something like that. I didn't lose my job, but I got a new job. So I was right back in a very similar situation, except it was more positive because it was a job that I actively like wanted and was better for me and things. So, but I was right back in the same boat of like, I just wasn't really concerned about YouTube. I was more concerned about how my new job was going to be and figuring things out and moving and all of these things. And that's where we are now. I'm working that new job currently. And I got this new streaming setup. My desk is very different. Maybe I'll show you sometime. But part of that was getting my desk, part of that setup, and part of moving and everything. And part of why I'm streaming now and why it's ready now is I had to figure out how to have my desk layout to have a green screen behind me easily. And so nobody cares about any of that, but that's just how it is. That's just what's happening in my life. If you're watching this, you're gonna hear a little bit about my life. And so yeah. Can I do a I'm gonna do a poll. Do you like yes or no? Can I make it? We get to choose how long it's up, or is it just gonna be up the whole video? No. Okay, wait. I don't want that. Okay. Please vote. I don't know if anybody's watching this. I'm not paying attention to my views right now. But like I said, yeah, this is kind of a test. But so far I like it, and I think I would use this for streaming. But I also think I would use this for any scripted videos that I do in the future. I already kind of thought about like if I do a scripted video in the future, that it would be like me standing. It would look kind of like this, but I wouldn't be sitting. I'd be like standing in front of a white wall, and it would be me with the outline, and I'd be talking into a microphone, similar to this, but standing, or in different places. But I just think it's a great compromise. I think I'm a genius for coming up with it. I think it's working way better than I expected it to, which is crazy. The reason I have this up right now, my monitor NZXT cam, because I was curious about my temperatures and everything. That's another. It wasn't a huge concern as far as like a VTuber. I know VTuber is more intensive on your computer, but I was kind of curious about how intensive this would be. That's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing I think I talked about on my last stream, was figuring out more of like my gaming setup in my new apartment, because I'm a PC gamer. And so I like having my PC. My old apartment, I had this weird fuck ass setup where it was a 1 bedroom apartment, so it was a lot smaller, and it was also 1 floor. My current apartment is 2 floors, and so I had my desk on one side of a wall in my bedroom, and then on the other side of the wall was my living room, and I literally had an HDMI cable like snaking along the wall. It was perfect setup for that, so that I could have my desk set up in my room and have my computer still connected to a TV, so I could play games on my couch. Because that's if I'm not streaming or something, primarily I'm playing games on my couch. Because even though I play games on PC, I just like playing games on my couch. I'm a console gamer at heart. I like playing games with controllers, and I like playing them on a TV on my couch. And so at my old apartment, the setup was perfect. But then I come to this new apartment that is now a 2 bedroom, so it's a little bit bigger, and it's 2 floors. And my living room is on my first floor, and I knew I had 2 bedrooms on my second floor, and so I knew I was going to have my computer in one of the 2 bedrooms upstairs. And so it's like, how do you navigate that if I want to play games on my living room TV downstairs? There's streaming, obviously, which is what I do, but that's way more complicated. I mean, I've been using streaming kind of not super seriously. When I say streaming, I mean like game streaming, not live stream. Game streaming, like Steam Link or Moonlight or whatever. I've used that for years. Literally, I bought the first Steam Link as soon as it came out, full price, $60 is what it was when it first came out, and then eventually they sold it for like literally $5. I still have that original one. So I've been using game streaming forever, but I've never really like pushed it to its limits of like, I want to stream 4K, 120 hertz frames a second. Like, sorry, basically like zero latency. Like, I've never really done that, and it turns out that's like harder than it sounds. Like, you think like, well, it's streaming, but you need like a pretty decent client computer in order to do that. And so I think my last stream, I was trying to, so stupid, I convinced myself that it might work, and it actually could work, but not with what I was using. I was live streaming from my laptop, which is not a good, like, it's not a power, it's not a game, it's not even a gaming laptop. It's a Dell Inspiron or whatever. It's a fine laptop, but it's not like heavy duty by any means. I was live streaming from that while streaming Moonlight to it from my desktop, which was downstairs. And what do you know? It ran like shit. Who would have thought? Who would have guessed? So I'll leave that. I think that stream is still up. Go watch that stream. You can hear me talk about 90% of the same things I'm talking about right now, except now I have a sick fucking face cam thing. I need to figure out what to call this. Because it's not, I'm not, I'm not a VTuber right now, right? To be very clear, this is not, we're not VTubing. All right, this is not VTubing, to be very clear. But yeah. So anyway, I bought a mini PC for my downstairs, which works pretty well actually. I don't remember what it is, so I'm not gonna like give you a recommendation or anything, but that's the route I went with. And it works well. And that allows me to have my computer up here, my main computer up here, which allows for things like this, streaming like this. Pretty. That being said, the plan for right now going forward is to stream more with the setup that you are currently seeing, with maybe some minor adjustments. I would like to. So let's go through. There's going to be multiple pillars here. Streaming is going to be like this. As far as like what we do on stream, I'm probably going to play games because it gives me something to do. I made a list of some games. It's probably going to be turn-based stuff because what I also want to do is, I guess, what the kids call react content, because that's where the money is, baby. But I mean, honestly, it is not. I mean, it's not about the money. I don't plan to ever really make money. It'd be great if I made money, but it's more so that I want to give commentary. I want to say things. I have things to say all the time, whether it be about a YouTube video or something I see on social media or whatever. I just feel like I have things to say a lot, and the fastest way to get those thoughts into the world is to see it on a live stream and say it live. A good example of that, which I actually republished on this channel recently, is that Little Joel video. I'm a big fan of Big Joel, the YouTuber. He has a second channel called Little Joel, where someone responded to something he put on that channel, and then I responded to that. It didn't get a lot of views, but I really liked that style of video because it just gave me a lot of. It was very easy to make. I wrote that video, I guess, in like a day. And it's quite a lot of. It's like a 20-minute video. It's like probably my second longest video. Can we look at that? I republished some videos recently that I had unpublished because, oh gosh, you're now seeing my actual. I don't ever want people to see my actual YouTube algorithm. I republished some videos recently. This is the one I'm talking about. Little Joe Glitch Poachers was the channel I responded to. This is a 24-minute video. That's my second longest video. That's longer than my Twitter video. In that video, granted, that's because there's a lot of footage of like, because I have the original Little Joel video, and then I have Glitch Poacher's response, and then I have my response to that for like every point. So it's not 25 minutes of me talking, but that's like a decent amount of content, And it was so easy to make at the time. 2 years ago. Jesus fucking Christ, bro. Life has like nerfed my YouTube ability to make YouTube videos. It's like this first of all, this being a year ago, that kind of feels right. This being 4 months ago, actually, that feels like it was fucking 5 years ago. Because I started a new job since. But this video is 35 minutes. Really impressive. That video took me so fucking long to make, and no one's fucking watched it. That was another reason why I decided to like change what I was doing. Partially because of how much work went into it, because of like what I mentioned before about needing to play this in the background to like see it. Just because of like how long it took, because all the visuals I needed to put in there. And I cited it. Look at this. I cited this shit because I was like, God damn it, if I'm gonna be serious, look at this. This right here, I made that. I made that myself. And this is what I mean. Like, you got to think about the visuals you're gonna have on screen, like at all times. And it's so fucking annoying. Look at this, where I slowed down this stupid fucking clip of Elon Musk bringing a sink into the Twitter headquarters like a fucking loser. Yeah, it's just like it just adds so much work. Something that already was a lot of work to write the script and to research it. And that's another thing I don't really want to do anymore is like research. Not that I don't want to research anymore, but I don't want to do like explanatory videos where the entire video is research. I want to do more videos that are like more, sounds kind of, I don't know, arrogant or narcissistic, but like that more videos that are just my opinion or my thoughts about something. Partially because that's kind of easier to make. Like I said, it would still require research, but it's not like this where like every line in this fucking script needed to be like sourced and researched. And you know, if it's my opinion, I can do some research to form that opinion, but then the opinion is my opinion on that. But yeah, I don't want to do that as much anymore. And yeah, the other thing was just making it easier. Look at that little ghost that I drew. I drew that shit. I did that for like the first few minutes of this video. There's a couple of like hand-drawn assets, and then I was just like, no, I'm not gonna do that forever because I can't draw. Like that's the thing. I like to draw. You can see my avatar right now is a little drawing that I drew. But I can't. I'm not like good at drawing by any means. Which is partially also why I didn't go the PNG tuber route, because that's what I was going to do. I was probably going to take that picture that's currently my avatar and make it like talk like that whenever I would talk, which I still think is not a terrible idea if I went that route. But PNG tubers, apparently people use them. I kind of feel that way about VTubers also. It's like I don't watch any VTubers. I see them occasionally. I don't even think they're that like the good ones. Like I've seen clips of VTubers and I'm like, that was funny, you know, or like that's, you know, whatever. I can understand as someone who likes anime. I can understand the appeal of a VTuber who, you know, someone who does it well. But like I said, I just think as a man, as a big old manly masculine man, it just doesn't really work. I saw one VTuber. I don't even remember who it was. I think I saw it on TikTok or something. So I didn't really catch who it was, but it was interesting to me because it was around the time that I was thinking these fucking highlights suck ass. That's another reason I don't want to show shit on screen anymore. Oh, and look at that terrible cutting out. All right, I just ended up like using the regular erase tool with like a slight blur because I was just like, I don't want to cut this out. Just did it quick. So annoying. I made that. That's custom made. That's handmade, baby. That's a handmade asset right there. But yeah, I would love to know if anybody else is doing like a similar style to what I have right now. I saw someone who it was clearly a VTuber, but it was sort of like it looked like a shadow, like it was an all black um model of like a face or like with like a body with a face and the face was really all you could see. I can't remember who it was, like what channel it was. It wasn't somebody I actively watched, but it was just like when I was looking at different VTubers to do or like to use as inspiration. Um, it's a great picture. Trump. That's beautiful. It's like I don't think anybody's ever looked less appealing. That picture, but also like, yeah, like I think this style would allow me. Like when I think about YouTubers I like, I hope my audio doesn't suck. I'm gonna throw that out there again. When I think about YouTubers I like, it is mostly people who do face cam, and I think that's because that allows you to do so much more. Like even well, I guess it is kind of true. Like so, like as far as YouTubers who don't use face cam, there are two that really stand out to me, both in terms of like the quality of their like writing, like the video itself, but also the editing that like allows them to make such good videos without having face cam. And those are Defunctland, obviously, as an OG. He makes fucking incredible videos. I don't even care about theme parks at all. Literally, I wouldn't. I have no desire to go to Disneyland or Disney World or anywhere else for that matter. But he still manages to make them like really fascinating and interesting. And part of that is the editing. Like obviously the writing is a huge part of that, but he manages to do the editing. And the fact that he never he shows like the back of his head in that Disney video, the Disney Channel video. But yeah, he does faceless videos excellently. But they're also like really high production value that I don't think I could achieve, frankly. Um, and then the other one is um, Alt Shift X, the Game of Thrones YouTuber, and I kind of, I think was it for this video? I kind of wanted to use his style because I think I don't know how much he's like talked about his videos, but like it seems like he has a very like formulaic. I want to fix this really quick. I had this like scooch, but now I realize I don't really. Oh God, I need to do this now that I have this. So now you can see my hand better. I want to just move my entire. I want to get. Yeah, I need to. There's some adjustments that still need to be. Like I said. Thing. See, look at this. That's not very professional. It's because this is so annoying. These highlights, at least the way I do it. There's probably a way better way to do it, but the way I do it is so annoying. And I was so close to not doing it in this video because of how annoying it is. But it's the only way to do it. You have to point out the text that you're talking about, or else it's like, why even put the text on the screen? And if you don't have the text on the screen, what the fuck are you gonna have on the screen? Because you gotta have something on the screen at all given times when you don't have any fucking face cam, which is why you're now looking at what you're looking at. Anyway, his videos, Alt Shift X's videos, look very formulaic, and I imagine that's how he's able to get them out so quickly. But they look fucking amazing still, and I think the way he does it, based on like, I watched his videos a lot to try to figure out how he does it. I think he, well, I guess I don't know exactly what programs he uses, but what I was going to do was make like a giant canvas, like an image file, basically, and then in that image file put other images with text, and then move the camera around that image file to get that look. Let me just pull up one of his videos. Oh, I don't want to watch his House of the Dragon videos because I have not watched that yet. I haven't watched Dunk and Egg either. I'm a fake fan. Here, let's go to like. I never watched his Dune. I don't watch his Dune videos either. I've never seen Dune. Let's just watch this one. I'm not gonna show the audio. See, but this is the thing I couldn't figure out, is because he has video parts. So it's like a video. See how it's like when he's gonna do like a zoom out part. He like zooms in, zooms out. He'll zoom out again. Eventually. See the way he's like moving up and down. See, and what he just did there. Here, let me like slow this down. I watched a lot of these videos because I was like trying to figure out how he does it. See, and then he's gonna zoom into that like corner. So he zooms in here. He just sort of like zooms in and out of every like image that he wants to focus on, but they're all there. Like, it doesn't look like he's like doing what I do in my videos, which is where I'll bring an image into frame. He sort of just has all the images there. Like, he's gonna zoom into this corner over here. Okay, we go up to House Stark, and then he's gonna zoom into that corner, and that image is like already there. We'll do it in a second. There. So he like zooms in, and then it just takes up, but then it becomes a video. That was the part I couldn't really figure out how he's doing it, unless he's literally just like matching the video up to the screenshot that he's taken or whatever. But that's what I wanted to do, is essentially have like an image file that just has all the images mapped out exactly where I would, and then I would just move the camera to whatever I wanted on screen at any given time. But I ended up not doing that for. See, look at that. See, and then it goes back. See, this is a perfect example. We started off here with this image, but then these are above it, and when we went from this image to this image, we moved to this image as opposed to having this image move into frame. We moved the frame to this image. And then this image is always here. So then when we zoom out, these images are all in the place. He like creates a map. There's probably some program or some smarter way to do this, but I was just like, man, that's such a good way to do it. It doesn't really solve that problem of needing to have something to display for every thing you're talking about. Obviously, he has the advantage of talking about a TV show, but there's always images to display. But I don't know. I just really love the look of that, and I was gonna try and do something similar, but then I realized it probably takes a lot of work, or a lot of work before you can even start the editing, I guess. Yeah, he's I think he's one of the best. Because I think he would also do, doesn't he, like towards the end of the video, doesn't he kind of like zoom out and show everything? Does he do that? Yeah. He's gonna zoom out. Yeah, see, and this is like, where'd we start? Yeah, we started here in this box and we zoomed around in this box and then we left and went to all these other boxes. But like, I imagine he just makes this image before he even starts editing the video and then just moves the frame around in his editing software, which is kind of genius and it looks great. But it takes a lot of mapping things out before you even, and it also it requires a lot of mapping things out, but it also probably requires a lot of, like, as you're writing, you have to be thinking about how these things are layered, and then when you actually make the image, you have to think about, okay, we go from this thing to this thing, and we go back to this thing, and I don't know. I wanted to do something similar, but seems like a fuckload of work. Super cool looking though. But anyway, yeah, those are probably the two, in my opinion, the two best non-face cam YouTubers. But then when it comes to face cam YouTubers, there's two, I guess, two that I kind of think of as like the main inspirations for what I think looks good. Not even necessarily looks good, but like Big Joel is one. Not that his videos, like the in person, I don't want to, I'm trying to think of how to say this without sounding insulting, but like they're not that complicated. It's just him with a microphone, usually in some like in front of a painting or something, or in an interesting looking room. But I think that is like a very simple way of, like, it looks good, it gives you something to cut to, and that's all you need, really. And that was kind of an inspiration, just because of the fact that like it looks good. His videos look very professional, despite the fact that the face cam part isn't really anything that crazy. But then another inspiration is Mini Minute Man, uh, history YouTuber, archaeology YouTuber. And I don't know, I just really like his sets that he has. His I think he records in like a fucking barn. I don't know what he's doing, but it looks good. Um, yeah, like he's just like recording. Yeah, like look at this. He must just have a barn. He always talks about how it's like outside and it's cold, but it's just like such a great set, and you get these great bits because you're in person. It allows you to have these interesting, like, this is not a skit, but it sort of, makes you feel like you're in this room with this guy hanging out. And it still looks really good. Might not be, because it looks like his barn. I'm trying to think of like, let's do the same thing. And that was a good one. It's in front of like a chalkboard. Here we go. Yeah, just even this, like in front of this, it's just a green wall, but it's got the cracks and it just looks great. And it gives them plenty of room to do this, to do like the displaying the image. I call this the Jon Stewart because I'm old. I associate this with old Daily Show where he would have, the image of something he's talking about on screen while he's talking. Um, that's great. I don't know. It's just, and it allows, yeah, for like a lot of zooming in and zooming out because you just have the scene. And yeah, I just think it looks pretty good. And so that was another inspiration because this is similarly to Big Joel. This is not like that complicated. He just has an interesting set. And so yeah, I think this new setup that I have will allow me to do more of this without showing my face, which it sounds, I don't know, I don't want it to sound like I'm not, I want to be very clear, I'm not afraid to show my face. I've shown my face in videos before. Those videos are not up anymore, but I've done it, I did it. I just felt like it just adds, I don't know, it just there's just pros and cons, and I ultimately decided that the pros were not worth the cons, especially if I could try and do something a little bit different. That's what we're doing right now. This is certainly something a little bit different, and I think it adds to the branding for the channel. I feel like people are more likely to stop when they see whatever the fuck this is, versus a fucking white nerdy dude with glasses and a beard, because there aren't enough of that on the internet. So I like it. I don't care if anybody else likes it. I care a little bit, but I like it, and I think it'll work, and I think it will be conducive to me making more stuff, whether it be streaming. Like already, it's weird, but like already I feel more comfortable streaming with this because I had this weird, like I don't know what you would call it. Like I had this weird streaming was hard for me with either of my previous setups of either having face cam or having nothing, right? Having face cam streaming is kind of like stressful because you just feel like you're being watched, right? Um, I don't know. It's just a weird feeling of knowing that someone could be looking at you at any given moment and see all of your face and your expression. I don't know. It just feels like you're being watched. And then, but then on the flip side, having nothing, having no face cam, nothing, you feel like you have to be like constantly entertaining because or constantly verbally entertaining even because that's all you have. That's all you're doing, right? Otherwise, if you're not talking, you're just staring at a screen or playing a game or something, and so it just feels like oh, if I'm not talking, then I'm just I'm just a Minecraft long play, no commentary channel, So you feel like you have to be talking constantly. And that's stressful, kind of in a different way. Whereas with this setup, I kind of get a good in between. Like I don't really feel like anybody is watching me. But yet, I can react. What? You know, get the good See, that was me doing a Wojak. I would never fucking do a Wojak pose if you could see all of my cracks and crevices. But since you cannot, I'm free to Wojak as I please. Anyway, trying to think if I want to keep, where do we want to go from here? I feel like I've thoroughly explained myself. I would like to continue streaming. I mean, not necessarily right now. I don't know if I'm going to continue. Right now? What time is it? It's pretty early. I could drink some more. Um, yeah, I would like to stream more with this setup. I feel like I actually can, which is cool. I might want to end stream and kind of just anchor with my look a little bit more. I might actually just set up my green screen for real, because like I said, it's taped right now with duct tape, and I think that might be partially to blame for like some of this stuff and things. And also, I kind of want maybe a thicker outline. I can make it so that more of my cracks and crevices are visible, but I'm kind of going back and forth about whether I want that. I kind of like this look, but I don't like that you can't see my mouth at all, which I feel like hinders the ability to react. Wojak. It's a very limited Wojak potential with the current setup that we have. So maybe I'll mess with that instead of continuing to stream. But I think I will stream tomorrow. So look forward to that. I also might this kind of depends on my work schedule. I want to try to see if my boss will let me come in later. Because if I come in later in the day, I like to run every day. I can run in the morning, then go to work, and then when I come home, I got nothing but time, baby. Right now I come home and I go for a run, and then I don't want to do anything else because I am tired. So I don't want to like stream after work. But if I do my running in the morning, I could potentially stream after work. And that opens a whole new world of possibilities. Because then I could stream basically every single day, every single night at least. And that's a lot of content, baby. That's what it's all about. It's all about that content, baby. Content, baby. Making content for free. Just also, another thing I like about this setup versus like a VTuber setup, first of all, I can get up and walk away. Check this out. See my chair. I might like get like. I wonder if I can like not paint, but like make my chair green. That you can't. But I can also bring in props. I don't know if you can actually hear that because I don't have an amp connected to it. So this guitar is also extremely out of tune. This isn't really the guitar I play. God, it's horribly out of tune. Oh my god. Yeah. But it looks fucking sick. Bring in props with this? You can't bring in props if you're a regular old VTuber. Can't bring in props. Not like me. probably sounds. Anyway, I think I am done for tonight. Maybe I'll come back on in the evening, later in the evening. I fiddle with my settings and maybe hang up my. Actually, I don't think I'll be able to hang up my green screen. I think about it because I think I need command hooks. Anyway, good night. I feel fantastic.